Greetings and welcome to another exciting episode, because they're all exciting right here at the Why I Love Disney podcast. We've got John David. We've got David. How you guys doing?
Great, Dustin. How are you?
Fantastic. We are right off of our big, I feel like we're all in this together, right? But it was your trip to Disney,
right?
And your trip to D23. You're fresh off of that. You're back home now. It's pretty funny. We should tell our listeners, we actually did a podcast while you were there.
We did,
and
from Orlando.
Unfortunately,
best one ever.
It was the greatest episode. It would have been the one that would go in the archives in the Hall of Fame of podcast episodes, right, especially about Disney. It was incredible. We did it at midnight. We were all a little slap happy, and it was great. But you'll never hear it because of bad Wi-Fi and bad hotel Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
that's right.
Bad hotel Wi-Fi.
Lost forever. Actually, we do have my recording of my side of things. We can't hear you, so we could just hear me asking you questions and not get any of the answers. So maybe our listeners could just listen and imagine what you might have said if it would have worked. No,
that would be good.
I am really upset that we weren't able to salvage that. But we're here today, now that we've processed a little more, to talk about this. And I know you guys have a lot to say. JD, welcome, man. How's your week been? Did you have a good Thanksgiving?
It's been great. I mean, me and my wife, it was our first Thanksgiving together. So we whipped up all the classic foods, got a rotisserie chicken. It was great. We really enjoyed it. It was very restful.
Awesome. David, you as well?
We had a great one, too. This was the first one, though, that JD and his sisters weren't all home. So we were a little, we were empty nesters this Halloween, Thanksgiving. But my wife made an incredible feast. She still fixed all the food like everyone was here. So I had a great Thanksgiving.
You got to see a good movie, didn't you?
And, yes, we went to see Encanto.
All right. Well, let me tell you about that. Did you enjoy it?
I did. I did. It was very different. I mean, it's visually it's stunning. Like it's like Coco, where it's like you're just blown away by the animation. The story is very mature, and I just by that man, I can't imagine if I had younger kids that they would have caught all the meaning of it. But I need to see it again. I think it's one of those where so much was going by. And the lyrics of the songs are it's a little more Broadway, a little more grown up. That was my take. Was you needed time to ponder what's going on and these characters. It's not a typical Disney musical. It was just a little more grown up in its style. Does that make sense?
That's awesome. Yeah,
it's not childish. It's not. I didn't hear songs that you think, oh, this is going to be the song of the fireworks necessarily. They're all very woven into the story, and almost every character seemed like they had a song at some point that was expressing their part of the story. So it was definitely one I need to see again to be able to process everything that was going on.
We won't ask you for a review yet. Did you see it, JD?
I have not seen it, but just hearing that interests me to see it, because honestly, watching the preview, I thought it was just going to be kind of the same format, the same kind of storytelling as Coco, as some of the other, classic Disney Pixar movies. So listening to that makes me want to see it and see my take on it. It seems like a different kind of perspective.
It's about a family that everyone has a gift, but the new character, the young girl, I think it's Maribel. Maribel has not gotten her gift, and so you kind of go on this journey of what makes us important. Is it what we do? Is it our giftings that make us valuable, or is it just being ourselves? I mean, that's kind of the underlying current of everything that's going on. But it's definitely one that you have to really focus and even on the lyrics and go, what's going on here.
I'm excited to see that. I want to maybe that would be a great review episode. I won't ask you to review it yet. We'll hold that off until we get back to all see it and talk about it. But that kind of flew under the radar.
Susan and I just wondered about what your boys would think, for young boys, what, how it would hold their attention and, that kind of thing.
We'll drag them there and we'll find out soon.
You'll have to let us know what they think.
What's really funny is you've told me in advance they're probably not going to like this or get this, but we're going to take them anyway. Well, and I might even set up a camera.
Would they have liked Frozen?
They liked Frozen, yeah.
I think there's parts of it that are like that where it's just not the typical.
Well, here's the thing: are there jokes?
Yes.
Okay, and there's good music, good
It's
melodies, catchy tunes.
Yes.
Oh man, then it's colorful and beautiful.
Yes.
I think my kids will be fine. Yeah,
Music. This is probably not a fair comparison, but I mean, you definitely the Hamilton vibe is just in there. It's not the same. Okay. It's not the same, but it's that with a South American flair.
Well, so with Hamilton, I found that you really, even to appreciate it, you have to be like locked in, or you'll miss something, right?
Oh yeah.
Is it kind of like that, where it may be a little slower paced, but at the same time, it's just you got to be locked in to get everything.
Mm-hmm. I think it's going to hit people differently if you. As a main character who's trying to figure out what her value is because she's not as gifted as everyone else. I mean, that's a pretty powerful message to put out to kids and to and adults too, because we all can get caught up with, what we do and who we are is defined by, what we do for a living or things like that, or what our talents are, and so it's a mature concept. It's not just I'm going to make a wish and find true love. It's just a different concept than that.
Yeah,
I can't wait to see it.
Cool.
There's nothing like the Thanksgiving holiday movie either. You know what I'm saying? We went and saw Ghostbusters.
Oh, okay.
Was
it crowded? Was Ghostbusters?
No, it wasn't crowded. It was half full. We went on at like 9:00 on Wednesday night. Okay. So it wasn't like a prime movie going time as the night before Thanksgiving. Okay. But it was fun. Like, it was good. I really enjoyed it. Very nostalgic.
We went to...
It's not Disney, but... I mean, it may be by now. Maybe they bought the studio. So who knows?
It could be. It could be at some point. We went to see Encanto later in the evening, and there were only about 8 people in the whole theater. That kind of surprised me. I thought we would see more return, but when we went to see the Eternals, there wasn't a large crowd, so maybe it's just our area.
Interesting. Did you see any movies for Thanksgiving? Do you do the Thanksgiving movie, JD?
Well, that's always been our family's tradition, but McKay had to work that morning, so the rest of the day on Thanksgiving was merely for eating and resting and playing cards and hanging out, so we just rested.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, what everybody wants to... Go ahead, David. You were going to say something.
I was just going to say, the theater wasn't very crowded for Encanto, but it sounds like the theater is going to be very crowded for Spider-Man No Way Home, because I also got tickets for the opening of that movie and last night, and it was very difficult. It was like the internet just shut down for a while.
I was reading this morning, all the ticket takers, like Fandango and all of them, were shut down. Like, it was like overloaded or something. I did hear that they're you may not have known this, but I think they're trying to attach an NFT, a digital collectible, to the movie tickets. Okay. So like the first 85,000. So I think that there's some speculation that maybe that had something to do with the difficulty of getting the tickets. All the crypto bros are trying to get in front of you, and they probably even won't go see the movie, but they wanted the ticket to get the NFT. I don't know if that's how it goes, but I hope you get one, and I hope you make a lot of money on it, or you have this exclusive collective.
We're going to Disney World if he gets a lot of money.
Well, we started. I started on Fandango, and I was told midnight, and we have family that's going to be together that day. It was the only day that we were all going to be together on the 16th when on the preview night. So I said, well, I'm going to try to get these, and I went online I'm in the Central Time Zone, so I went on actually at 11 just to see if it was earlier here, and it was already locked up, and I ended up working on it for over an hour, trying with Fandango, trying with our local movie theater's website. It was even locked up. I couldn't get tickets on that either. So I kept working, and finally I did not get them through Fandango. So I probably missed out on the collectible. I ended up just getting them straight off the website from my local theater and bought them there.
Interesting. Well, maybe not. You never know.
Yeah, for a while, like
We'll hope.
everything shut down, and you could not get a standard ticket. You could only get an IMAX ticket or a 3D ticket, which I was surprised they were even doing this in 3D again. So those were the only options, and we were like, well, if this is the only day we're going to go, we'll try. And we kept working on that, and every time we would click we need 5 tickets, and we're here. It would shut down. It would say, sorry, can't do this, error. And then finally, all of a sudden, it opened up. Our local theater's website opened up, and I got 5 tickets, just standard tickets, not IMAX or anything like that. So it was a lot less expensive, and like right on that good zone, right in the middle of the theater. So yeah.
It's just so interesting though, because like I'm excited for the movie and I'm pumped for the movie because I'm a big Marvel fan. But why do you guys think people are getting so hyped up about a Spider-Man No Way Home movie? Out of all the new Marvel movies, why are people, not just Marvel fans, getting excited for this?
I don't know. You guys
were talking in relation to last night in particular. Like, why would you? I asked David, like, what would make you get up at your tickets at midnight the night they go on sale?
It's like, obviously, if Fandango's crashing, there's got to be tons of people on this platform.
If there's NFTs involved, that's why.
Yeah, that's true.
I've pre-bought movie tickets, but never the moment it goes on sale. Mm-hmm. So I remember Star Wars Episode 1. I went to this is 2001, right? Something like that. Maybe 99. But it was like the most hyped movie that I remember up to that point. And you would have to go to the theater and pre-buy your physical tickets, right? There was no online, get your tickets online then. And other than that, I just wanted to make sure I got that there for opening night for that kind of thing. And I think I did the same thing for The Force Awakens too, which you did online. But there was something I had to be there. And maybe you're right, JD. Maybe Spider-Man is becoming kind of a Marvel, a can't miss. Yeah. Kind of, I got to be there to see it the first night to see what happens. Maybe they've drummed up this kind of marketing and kind of anticipation. It could be. Well,
it's got me thinking. It's like, is this just drawing in that generation that enjoyed the other Spider-Mans? So now people are thinking, if I can see Andrew Garfield again in the Spider-Man suit, I'm not a big Marvel fan, but this gets me excited. But
the speculation has helped, I'm sure.
Yeah, and it's funny. I was thinking in my head, you got NFTs, which is introducing the world to the metaverse, and Spider-Man is introducing us to the multiverse. It's just a kind of funny little relation of this next phase of what's going to happen. It's interesting.
Well, it's the first time that I can remember in a long time where I was trying to get tickets to something like that for opening night, and it was really only because that's the night our family was going to be together, and I knew it was going to sell out. Like I figured it's the opening night it's going to sell out, so I was trying to be on the forefront of that. But I never imagined it was going to be that crazy for a couple of hours. It was like trying to get the tickets to the D23 event that I went to just last week. It was a lot like that experience online.
Great transition, because that's what everybody wants to hear about. Everybody wants to hear about your trip to Florida. So let's get with that. How was it? You got down there, you met up, you guys got to spend some time together, you were in the parks. How was the trip? Let's start with how was D23? What were your impressions? What did you take away? Do you have any news to break for us?
Well, this was the first Disney event like this that I've ever done, and you can see my T-shirt here. I've got the sweatshirt on. But D23, if you're not familiar with that, it's a fan club, and you basically pay one fee at the beginning of the year, and you get special merchandise for being in the club. And you get opportunities to buy merchandise throughout the year that you can't get unless you're a member of D23. And then they have several events and things like that throughout the year, and some online events as well. So this was their big event this year called D23 Destination D23. Next year is called the Expo. And I've never been to the Expo either, but that's next year in 2022, and that will be in Anaheim. So this year it was in Orlando at the Contemporary Resort Hotel. So I got to spend a lot of time at the Contemporary Resort Hotel. That was really fun, and about 2,000 people I think were there, and it's just a fan event where they have a lot of Imagineers, people from Disney doing talks. They also usually reveal several big, news items over the weekend as well. But this year, there weren't as many big items. They were more things that we were kind of expecting, but there were still several announcements of things that are come. And then other than that, it was really fun being in an environment where there were that many fans hanging on every word to see what was going to be announced next. And they interviewed Disney legends and did things like that where they talked about the building of the park. It was just a lot of stuff like that. A lot of fun.
That's cool. You said you met a lot of fans. I know, like, when you're in the audience, did you recognize, like, were there other Disney fans you recognized from kind of Instagram, just kind of what we do with podcasts, the world and YouTube world?
I saw several YouTubers that I have watched quite a bit, and everybody I got a chance to speak with was very nice, very cordial, very open to hearing, how much I enjoyed their videos or their podcasts, and that was a lot of fun. I also got a chance to meet some Imagineers, some very people that you've seen in the Imagineering story on Disney Plus. That was a lot of fun, and again, just the opportunity to go up and just be able to approach people in the lobby and say, "Hey, I know who you are, and I appreciate the work you've done, and what you've done for so many years has had an impact on our family. Thank you for what you do." Just kind of fun. I've never done anything like this. Yeah.
That's awesome. So it took place in the Contemporary Resort, right?
Yes.
Is that where this happens?
Yes.
And that they have a convention center there and whatnot. I know. So I'm going to get you guys kind of going and telling all about your weekend and your time in the parks together. But the first text I got was, "Hey, we got reservations to this new steakhouse at the Contemporary Resort." Tell me about that. Let's get a quick little review on that.
Sure.
Yeah, so this Disney trip, it was a very unique one with Dad doing D23, but we wanted to have some park days in there. But it was unfortunate that D23 was the weekend right before Thanksgiving. So it was a little more crowded than we had expected. I mean, due to the holidays and stuff like that, which is fine. We love just being there. But we're like, all right, look, we're not going to be able to do a lot of the attractions and things like that. Just hop on like we usually can do when you go at, uneventful times of the year. So we're like, why don't we just try all of these new restaurants that have come up and, get to try them, get to review them, and just try a different part of Disney. So the first one we got a reservation for was Steakhouse 71, which is actually at the Contemporary. We did that on Thursday night, and it was great.
How's the service? Service great?
Service was great.
Yeah.
And we had prime rib, and we had their filet mignon and several sides, and we kind of divided everything and shared everything, so we both got to enjoy it. It was good.
Yeah, it was great.
Awesome.
Of course, great steak, great meat, everything. The thing that was special about it, and I think one of the things that they try to promote that kind of makes Steakhouse 71 unique from other steakhouses on Disney property, is they've got this thing. I'm trying to remember exactly what it was. It was like 6 sauces for maybe like $6 that you could add on. So they bring out this tray. And again, I can't even remember. There were so many sauces. They had to explain it to us like 3 or 4 times because there's just this whole tray of different sauces.
A flight of sauces?
A flight of sauces, that's it. And I think there were more. I think there were at least 8. There may have been 10. It was quite a...
I might be just remembering the $6 or something like that, but it was a lot.
And they just bring this out and they expect you to. So it's not like the place where they just they get offended where you ask for sauce with your steak. They just bring it to you and it's part of the deal. That's amazing.
They want you
They have one that's called, I think it's the signature one, like the Steakhouse 71 sauce. And then they have another that was a red wine sauce. But then there was a horseradish sauce. There was a mushroom-based sauce.
Green.
There was a chili-based sauce. So, it was, a lot of fun.
I'm starving.
It was, I know, my stomach's starting to growl.
For our listeners who go there, if they just want to get one sauce, I think we both decided that the Steakhouse 71 sauce was probably our favorite. Why didn't you say, Dad? That was probably the best. That's the one I enjoyed the most, was the signature Steakhouse 71. That was the best to me.
But it's also fun just trying different things. That if you enjoy trying new flavors, that was a lot of fun. And one thing I appreciated about it was that it's not the most expensive steakhouse on property, but it was excellent. It I would say it met my expectations. It's kind of what I expected, and I was very pleased with our experience and the service. And it's called Steakhouse 71 because that was the year Disney World opened and the Contemporary Resort opened. And when you go in, there is a lot of photography, pictures of the early days of the park and what things looked like when it first opened. I enjoy anything that's got the history and all that tied in with it as well.
Yeah. That's awesome. So take us through, that was night one. Take us through your first day. What did you guys do?
Yeah, so night one was we got to Orlando, we checked into our hotel, immediately went over to the Contemporary to kind of scout it out for Dad so he could see the whole, where D23 was going to be, the convention center and stuff like that. Enjoyed some of the resort, got to see it, and then we went over to eat at Steakhouse 71. And I'm pretty sure that concluded the day, didn't it, Dad? Or did we do anything after that?
We did some riding around. We rode the monorail. We went over to the Floridian. We just kind of explored because we did not have park tickets that day, so we just kind of walked around and did some different things like that.
Yeah, and then so that brought to our next day was on Friday, which was the day we did Epcot. And that day we were really fortunate because they have this, probably the most hyped up new restaurant is Space 220. Which we did not have reservations for. Of course, you really have to do that far in advance. But we kind of were like, well, we want to try it. So we went over to where the restaurant was because we knew they had a little bit of walk-up availability, but you had to be one of the first ones there. Mm-hmm. And got there, and immediately there was a pretty long, decent-sized line. But it wasn't so long that we thought it was not going to happen. So we waited in the line for a good amount of time. And got really fortunate that they had, I think, maybe one reservation left for lunch just for our party size. And the cast member really went out of their way to try their best to let us get into the restaurant, which they really didn't have to do. It was That's really a great experience with the cast member, which is always great.
Yeah, and y'all sent me a video from that, and I posted it on our Twitter too if people want to go check out what it looked like. But that's probably of the new call it an attraction because it's kind of an attraction and a restaurant all together. Probably the thing I'm most excited about hearing about and trying out myself when I get back down there. So what was the experience like?
Well, we had a great view. When we actually left the restaurant, we ran into the cast member again, and she told us she put us on the far wall of where you look out into space because most people actually think that the best view is from the back. She said everybody always wants to be in a seat right beside the window, but most people. She included thought that the view was best from the back. So and you could get up and walk around. You could get closer to the windows and look out into space and see things. But the overall experience was really good. And we when we got up to the line, lunch had actually sold out. There was no more lunch. And so we got in the line thinking that maybe we could there's a lounge where you can go in and have a smaller menu. We were going to at least try that to have the experience of going in. They tried to work us into the dinner reservation time, but we had a reserved ride for what was it? Mickey's Runaway.
Remy's. No, that was Epcot. That's right, that was Remy's Ratatouille.
We already had a 6 o'clock attraction ticket, so we couldn't do that. So they again, John David was right. They just really were kind and worked us into the lunch. So lunch is a fixed price per person. So when you go in, again, you can order a salmon or you could order spaghetti. And so we picked salmon and steak again because it's kind of you're already paying for it in the fixed price. But the food was really good. I think Space 220 exceeded my expectations because it was a little bit better than I expected it to be, and it was just a lot of fun.
Food wise, or just the experience wise?
The food was good. The experience was good. I would say it's a little bit louder. Because there are a lot of families in the room. It's not as big as I thought it was going to be. So there's a lot of room noise. But other than that, it was a really good experience. And I'm not being critical of that. That's some people would not like that. There are a lot of people in there. Yeah. But overall it was a really fun experience, and you go in and they put you in an elevator that takes you into space, and it reminded me, you would remember the old Mission to Mars ride that used to be in Tomorrowland, where you look down at the screen and you see yourself rising up. They do a similar to that, but a lot more technically. You know, it's pretty amazing how they make you feel like you're going up into space. A lot of fun.
Yeah. Definitely a recommendation for that is definitely the salmon. I think we both enjoyed the salmon the most out of the sides and the two entrees we got. Which I'm pretty sure our server recommended. I mean, we kind of came with the attitude of what's good. We just want to get what you guys are kind of known for, and he recommended the salmon, and we really enjoyed it. I mean, it was a great experience. Me personally, being on a college student, balling on a budget, you know, I would probably say it was great for that one time. Probably wouldn't sit down and do it again. The lounge is a great option that they had. I would definitely be open to that. But again, you're right. It's like if you don't want to get salmon or steak, you don't want to pay $55 for a cheeseburger. But the thing that you're really paying for is the environment and the atmosphere, which is great, and it's unlike. It's up there with Be Our Guests and those other awesome immersive atmospheres. Right. So it's like if you can do that and sit at the lounge and you know, get just an appetizer and split it and be with family or a friend, it's like do that. Especially if you're you're not wanting to spend all that money, you don't have to.
But they're limited. Those seats are limited too. So it's all just.
Oh yeah.
You know, we were grateful that we had the morning. We got there first thing. We got in that line. And I think if we had waited another 30 minutes, we would not have gotten in. So it was good that we did it first thing.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see in the next 2-3 years how it the time goes with it, and if it's still hard to get those lounge seats, which I'm sure it will always be full and filled up. But it will be a great option in the next years if you can get those lounge seats without having to plan your whole park day around it.
Sure. So that was in Hollywood Studios?
That was in Epcot. That was the first thing we did in Epcot.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. So what else did you do in Epcot that day? You said you had a ride attraction scheduled?
Yeah.
What were some of the attractions you experienced?
The big thing for me on this trip was I was really looking forward to doing Remy's Ratatouille, which is the new ride at Epcot. It was first. It's at the one in Paris, the Disneyland Paris, and they brought it over to Epcot and Disney World. So I was really excited to do it. Me and Dad always joke we have two different perspectives of what we want when we go see a new attraction or ride or anything. Me personally, I don't look up any YouTube videos. I don't want to know anything about the theme. I don't want to know about the ride car. I don't want to know anything about it. Dad is the complete opposite. Dad really kind of wants to know what to expect. He wants to know what to kind of be looking out for. So it was fun for us to both ride it together. And to hear our opinions about what we thought about it, and not one with no expectations and one with expectations. It was a fun experience.
It was. It's a really fun attraction, and it exceeded my expectations because I had watched it online, and it looks good online, but it's much better in person than watching it online for sure.
Yeah,
that's super cool. Were there any other new attractions that you were able to get in while you were there that you'd never done before?
So on our Hollywood Studios day, Dad was able to do Mickey's Runaway Railroad, which was new for him. I'd done it a couple of times. It was fun getting to ride it again now after I've ridden Remy's, because I was a little more critical of Mickey's ride because that was the first ride I rode after riding Rise of Resistance. So I had this really lofty, not possible to reach expectation of what a new Disney ride is. And then I got a cute, fun, good ride, but didn't blow me away like Rise of Resistance did. So it was fun getting to ride Remy now that my expectation was kind of more steady and possible to reach. So I really enjoyed it.
That's cool. David, what did you think of Mickey's Runaway Railroad?
It was good. It was much better than when you watch it online, where it's just the visuals are good. Both attractions, the ride experience was better than I expected. Especially Remy's. It was not a flat ride like I expected. It moves up and down, and it's a lot more.
Yeah.
the car's doing a lot more frantic moves like a mouse would do than you can visually tell online when you're watching it on YouTube or something like that. So it was a lot more fun, and I thought it was Mickey's was a fun experience too. It was neat that Mickey and Minnie finally have an attraction. There was so much in both of the rides that you can't see it all. If I had not watched on YouTube on Mickey's Runaway Railway, I think I would have missed most of it. I knew what to kind of be looking for, and I still couldn't see it all. And there's this underlying theme in Mickey's that Pluto has this little underlying story where he's in every scene, but you can't hardly. I couldn't even find him in some. And I knew where he was going to be. It's like the car is moving so fast and spinning and doing so many things that it's a lot to take in. And I think Remy's was that way.
Yeah,
you got to do it a few times to really grasp it all.
Yeah, what's so special about it is it's a trackless ride. Both of these rides are trackless rides, so they're able to move you around and shake you and like shuffle you left and right, unlike any ride before, because it doesn't have a track. So it's just got this car that can basically take you in whatever spot it's programmed to do. So it makes it really, it's unexpected. It's way more surprising for even more of a tame ride. It feels a notch up because you don't know what to expect because you can't see where it's going.
The track, right? Yeah.
That's cool.
So it was good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So did you jump back in line and do it again, or tell me the process of getting on these rides?
Well, at Epcot we did not use. Disney has introduced this new system called Genie. Genie is an app that you can use that helps you plan out your day, and there's the basic Genie, which just makes recommendations to you what rides are available, what you should try to do. Then you can also you can pay $15 a day per person for Genie Plus. And the best explanation would be kind of like the old Fastpass system where you're paying, but this time you're paying for it. It's not free, but you're paying $15 a day per person, and you can reserve ride times for certain attractions. But Mickey's Runaway Railway is in its own tier where you just you can pay one flat fee to ride Mickey's Runaway Railway at a time that they give you, and we had that at like 6 o'clock. That's why we couldn't eat at Space 220 at that time, because there was no way we were going to be able to work out the dinner reservation. So we did pay the flat fee. We did not pay for Disney Plus at Epcot because we did not think we needed it. We had researched enough to know we really didn't need it, but we did use that because two of our main goals was to eat at Space 220 and to ride Mickey's Runaway Railway, so we didn't want to miss that.
Yeah, we did it at both Magic Kingdom and we did it at Hollywood Studios. Right. And the reasons we did it were, one, because we wanted to give it a try and see how we liked it, and two,
we did it. You're talking about Genie Plus,
yes.
Yeah, Genie Plus.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, I'm getting my days crossed when I'm talking about Mickey's Runaway Railway and Epcot, but you get the idea. We paid for Mickey's Runaway Railway when we did it.
So that was a separate thing. So you're trying Genie Plus, which is a fast pass for all the rides except like the Tier 1 new stuff, right? That is a separate thing that you have to pay for.
And those are called lightning lanes. I mean, everything is a lightning lane now, which is again the new fast pass. But all those top tier rides, you can only purchase.
What are the top tier rides that are included in Genie Plus?
At Genie Plus at Epcot, which is what I was talking. I kept saying Mickey's Runaway Railway, but the top tier rides at Epcot are the new Remy. The new Remy Ratatouille ride, and Frozen Ever After, the ride in Norway Pavilion. Those two you have.
Is Test Track on there?
No, it's
no?
just as part of the regular Genie Plus. Each park has two rides that you have to pay flat fees if you want to skip the line, and that's what Genie Plus and Genie Lightning Lanes. It's all about skipping the line, and so Fastpass you used to everybody that had Fastpass could get maybe 2 or 3 attraction passes where you were going to be able to skip the line, and this is the new form. It's just that usually fast passes used to be by paper, then they were on a phone, and now it's a new system, but it's still on your phone. You have to.
And it also used to be free.
That's the biggest criticism is that it used to be free, and now you have to pay for it.
Yeah. Yeah, the biggest criticism is it used to be free. Fastpass used to be free. And also, you could schedule it ahead of time and you didn't have to worry about it. My least favorite thing about Genie Plus is you pay for it, which is great, and it's great that you get to skip these lines, but you still have to schedule the rides within your park day. So then it kind of creates this job and kind of obligation of something you have to be watching on your phone as you're going through your restful, enjoyable, fun day. You're still having to make plans, and when you create that competition and that kind of stressful thing, it makes it a little more complicated than just getting to skip the rides.
You are on your phone quite a bit because you're trying to figure out, what are we going to do next? And you may go in and say, I'm using Genie Plus. I'm gonna book a time to ride Test Track, but it may say 4 p.m. and it's 11 a.m. So and then you can book another Genie Plus ride 2 hours after the last one, or once you've already done that attraction. So there's a lot of waiting, just like there were with Fast Passes. You can only have so many at a time. So even though you're paying $15 a person to have all this access, you're not going to be able to use it for all of those attractions. Everybody's going to end up spending some time in lines. You may skip a few, but you're still gonna stand in some lines.
Which it really was helpful. I mean, it was greatly helpful when we did Hollywood Studios. We were talking about it a little bit. We got to do all of the rides that we wanted to do. I mean, Tower of Terror, Rock and Roller Coaster. We really did. We got to do all of them, and we probably couldn't have done it without Genie Plus. So it really is great. I think it averaged out to we got we got to skip 3 lines at Hollywood Studios and maybe 4 at Magic Kingdom. So it really is pretty much just like Fastpass. I know with Fastpass you got your standard 3 a park day.
So having used Genie Plus, did it work well? Was it seamless? Did you enjoy it?
It worked pretty well. Again, the thing for me is when I'm trying to go through a day of just enjoying time with family, I don't want to be looking at my phone all day. I want to be like talking and enjoying and looking at this awesome atmosphere and environment that they've created. I think now I would enjoy it a lot more going back to the park and doing it again. I almost wish there was like a way that they could do like a practice round that you could do before you go on your trip, so you don't have to go through all of that new experience while you're there. I think again, like if I went again, next week, I would enjoy it and be able to do it a lot better, and I would enjoy it. But the thing that was hard about that first one was I was just going through a new kind of technology, and in Disney World during the holiday season, which is can be hectic.
I think overall it serves the same type of purpose as Fast Track, and so as Fast Pass. I mean, not Fast Track, Fast Pass. The thing is, it's a little complicated. It's not just a little. It's very complicated. But I think Fast Pass was complicated. If you're not a regular park attendee, figuring out Fast Pass it was difficult, and now figuring out Genie Plus is difficult. You need someone to walk you through the system, because if you get to the park and someone explains it to you, it's almost too late. You're not going to be able to figure it out fast enough to be able to utilize it, and you're going to end up standing in line all day and feel disappointed because you're seeing other people skip the line, and what did I do wrong to miss this?
Yeah, there seems to be too like a lot of things seem to be moving. There's a lot of, you have to reserve your spots. You have to reserve your day in the park. You have to get on this app and you have to schedule, but you can't schedule in advance anymore. You have to do it while the day. Then you can have 2-hour windows and all. I'm telling you, like, it's really a little bit surprising to me, because it seems to me the more complicated you make things, the more you start to lose out. I was recently on their website looking for group tickets and for a potential thing, and there's so many options. There's parks, there's the multiple days, then there's with Genie Plus, there's without, there's park hop. It just gets so confusing so quick, and I'm not sure if that's a great way forward. Well, I don't know. It strikes me as the opposite of someone like Apple, for instance, who They share board members. This should be something that comes up in meetings.
But with the Fastpass system previously, one of the things that people complained about was, I don't want to book my Fastpasses 60 days out or 30 days out. Like if you were staying at a resort, you could plan your Fastpasses 60 days out. Or if you were not staying at a Disney resort, you could, and you had tickets and reservations, you could plan your Fastpasses 30 days out. And people were like, I don't know what I'm going to feel like doing 60 days from now. I don't. And so this was they're constantly trying to juggle everyone's expectations, and it's very hard to please everybody. And I think in the end, who really enjoys things like Fastpass and who's going to enjoy Genie Plus are the people that are go often enough that they figure out how to hack the system and to make the most of it. And everybody else is going to be just trying to figure out, like, how do I skip 2 or 3 lines? But some people are going to figure out how to use that system to get as many, passes, lightning lanes as they possibly can. I definitely think that some parks like Magic Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, it's a lot more valuable there. At Animal Kingdom and Epcot, I don't know that you have to have it unless, like we were there at a very busy time. I think if the park is at max capacity, you're going to want to break into it. But there's some days that you would not need this, especially at some of the parks.
Yeah, and all these aspects are great features, and like it's great that Disney has, aspects like Park Hop, and it's great that they're trying to provide these platforms for people to do more and reserve more and do these things. I think the part that Disney kind of needs to work on improving is just the communication. And when you implement things, you kind of need to do it step by step. When you just create this whole new Genie, when you create new Genie Plus, and all these lightning lane things all at one time, it's overwhelming, and it's such a fast pace that people can't really keep up with it. And then you do have like your locals and the people who have been going for a really long time who know the parks and know the system well, and even they're confused. And then that kind of makes them a little frustrated and maybe stressed out. So I think it's all a great concept, and I think Disney really has good intentions of doing the right thing and making the experience better. They could just do a better job at kind of communicating and implementing it to their customer.
That makes sense. I think simpler is better. And when I hear you guys talking, the more I read, and it just feels more complicated. It makes me wonder, like, and again, they're trying new things out. You have the pandemic, you have your reopening, you got new attractions, you got to figure out how to get people in and how to keep profit margins up. I get all of that. I appreciate all of that. They know better than me, right? They have more data than I do. So it makes me think, they're working out some of the kinks, working out the bugs. They'll listen to customer feedback and evolve as they go. Do you think that the paying for is here forever, here to stay? The Genie Plus edition?
I don't know. It feels like it's here for a while. Yeah.
Do you feel like the tiered thing where there's excluded rides, do you think that's here to stay, or do you think eventually it all gets kind of lumped in?
I don't know. I think one of the things I dislike about it is that it kind of creates I heard somebody say like a class system a little bit, where you've got the people that are paying for the extra and the people who aren't, and the people that aren't paying extra are going to stand in a lot longer lines. They just are, and it kind of creates that just an unequal feel in the park. But when Disney first started, when Disneyland and Disney World both opened, you paid a fee to get in, and then you paid tickets. You bought tickets for everything. You didn't do this one. Right, yeah,
Carnival.
and the e-ticket rides, the Space Mountains, the Pirates, they cost more than to ride a vehicle down Main Street. So the concept was there really from the beginning, but right now we're paying a lot more to get into the parks than they were back in the day.
Right.
I think inflation-wise, it's if you adjusted everything for inflation 1971 to now, you would see we're paying a whole lot more to get into the parks than people were in 1971 or 1955. But so that you're paying that large amount, plus now you've got to pay for extra rides. But it's like the technology seems to create these new needs to do it differently. I can't figure that out. It just seems like, you remember when when fast passes were paper, and you used to have to go into the park and you have to run. If you wanted a fast pass for Space Mountain, you had to run all the way to Space Mountain, get the fast pass card, and then you might go somewhere else on the other side of the park. Then you still had to go back. I mean, it was like a lot of running around. At least now we can do it on our phones. It's not running all over the park to get a paper ticket.
Yeah. This might surprise you. I've never used a fast pass.
Were fast
ever.
When you were growing up around the parks, were not fast passes not there?
When I was a teenager, there were. Yes, it's existed. They were always there that I can remember, but I've never used one. The whole idea of going somewhere first and getting a place in line and then coming back at a certain. I never wanted to be tied to a schedule. I'll go where I want. I knew when lunchtime hits, go over there. I knew when the fireworks are going, go over there, and everything else, you just sort of do the stuff that's not as crowded. And I had my own little thing, and I was not going to we're not going all the way to Tomorrowland to get a ticket to Space Mountain. We're going over to Jungle Cruise. You know what I mean?
That's a luxury of a local.
Own ebb and flow.
That's a luxury of a local.
That's true.
When you get to go,
honestly, I've never used a fast pass. I know people have, and I know they're valuable.
Well, I'll do a little plug here for a video I saw yesterday on YouTube by a guy named it's called Defunct Land. You need to check out. It's the history of the Fast Pass, and he walks through why Fast Passes were created and how Genie Plus has now entered the arena. And it's about an hour and a half video. It's one of the longer things I've watched like this, but it's a excellent tutorial why Fast Passes were created, because I'm kind of the thought that we went a year ago in the middle of the pandemic in September, and there were no fast passes, and everybody stood in line, and it was one of the best trips to Disney I'd ever had, because all the lines were easy to get through. It was like nothing was too long, and it's this whole debate of, do all these things just make the lines longer, or do they make the lines shorter? And this video with Defunct Land on the history, it kind of explains a lot more why they do it and how it came about, and you really should check it out. It's a great tutorial, and helped me understand it a lot better.
Yeah, I remember the night before Disney, you're going and you're just, am I going to go right or am I going to go left first? You know what I'm saying? I was really more of a left person. I always went to Adventureland first and hit the pirate side first, because I always felt like everybody else was going to Tomorrowland, to Space Mountain first. And I don't know if that's true or not. In the old days,
they used to have those were the kind of hacks you heard. Like, if the line splits, go left, because most people will go right. And when you go in the park, go left. Most people go right. And when the fireworks go, run to the rides, because most people will go. That was about as complicated as it got. And now you're on you're on your phone going.
But if you get to the Now, if you're there at gate drop, you can pretty much do anything, but you always knew, too, that, Thunder Mountain was in the back corner. It's hard. It takes long. So if you're fast, if you walk fast, you're going to get there and maybe ride it twice before it gets crowded. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We did have a great experience at Hollywood Studios, because we wanted to ride Slinky Dog Dash, and it's one of the longest lines all day long. And we didn't get any kind of lightning lane for it. They're gone quick. They're gone pretty much first thing in the morning. The resort people that are staying in the resorts get first access, and they're gone very fast. So I've seen several tutorials, allears.net, several others that said save Slinky Dog for the very last thing, because as long as you're in line, before park closes, you're in the line. So we waited, and I think maybe it was about 8:40. The park was closing at 9. We got in the line, and the line said it was like a 60-minute wait, and it was only about maybe 20-minute wait, and we got on and off, and right when we got off, there was like 30 seconds left till 9 o'clock, and we jumped back in line, so we actually got to do it twice.
I sprinted.
I sprinted. Awesome.
We literally were sitting in the on Slinky Dog, the ride, and I look at my phone and it says 9 o'clock. And I was like, oh, there's no way we're going to be able to do it again. And then we surprisingly got out of the car pretty quick. And then I never realized Slinky Dog's got like the quickest turnaround of like, you know, a lot of these rides you've got to walk down these long hallways. I could literally see the entrance and the cast member. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm making this. So I like took off and ran, and we made it like right in time. Over at 9:01. And we were just about the last people on the ride.
People, this still, so you could verify this for me. I mean, I haven't been in a few years, but the best time to ride rides is still the last hour of the park, right?
Oh, yeah.
Forget fireworks aside, like it's just you can jump on stuff and do things like that where you ride more in the last 2 hours than you had all day. You know what I mean? I've had that experience.
Yeah, I've always told McKay, who she hasn't stayed at a resort much, but growing up, we would stay in some of the on-property hotels at Disney, and we need to do a podcast. We need to do an episode just on Disney, you know, tips and tricks, because we could talk about that all day. But if you're staying in an on-property hotel, it really is smart to wake up, get there early, do those rides before people get there, and then right around 1, 2, leave, go and rest, go enjoy a restful nap or lunch somewhere at your hotel or somewhere off property, and then come back around 6, 7 once it gets dark, and people will start to go to dinner, and then you can ride more rides in those time slots than you could have done all day.
Smart. We should do an episode on that. I have a lot of tips and tricks, but I think they've closed a lot of my loopholes, and they probably wouldn't appreciate me saying some of them. They kind of are borderline, but maybe we'll do that. I'm teasing it. I'm sure we could get a lot of clicks on something like that.
The thing is, and we talked about it a little bit, but for me, the reason I love Disney so much is because they'll let you get in a line the minute that the park is closing.
Yeah.
That's a little thing that goes beyond data. It goes beyond statistics. But it makes me feel like they want me to have a great experience, and they want me to enjoy my day, and I get so much joy out of that. And like, we laugh about it, and we smile about it now when we think about our Disney day, because we got to do one more ride that if you were at another park or if you were at somewhere else, they would have shut off the line. But it's such a special thing that I think any CEO, any leader, any manager at Disney needs to realize, okay, like, we're creating an experience. Sometimes statistics won't tell us things about this.
Right.
Excellence. Meet the customer's expectations. Don't just meet them. Go beyond.
The Fastpass system or Genie Plus, whichever one, is what they have to be hoping is that you're going to remember the 2 or 3 lines you skipped, or the times that you got back. The cast member did a little special thing to let you get back on the ride, or the cast member made a tweak and got you in the restaurant. They're counting on that, because there is a lot of waiting. But that's the way theme parks are. There's a lot of waiting. So all of these things are designed to help you feel like, I got a break. I got something special that everybody didn't get. I got to cut a line. I got to get a reservation. I got, if we've had before where they give, we were at the confectionery and we were on our way out, and one of the workers came over and gave John David a free treat because she just liked him, and she said, I want you to have this. Come back and see me again. Those little things that cast members do are what make you you endure the lines, because Americans don't enjoy standing in line. I think they say one of the things they know about a lot of the parks is that in some areas, I think they might say that the American audiences and the French audiences don't like the lines as much as they don't have trouble in Shanghai and Hong Kong and Tokyo, that people endure the lines better. But here, these little things are at least giving us that feeling of, I got a special treat. I got to skip the line here, or something like that. So.
That's so cool. I think that's a great place to kind of wrap up today. JD, you said it best. Those little extra things are what makes makes all the difference in the world, and that's why we love Disney. That's why you guys just said why I love Disney, but we would love to know what you all love about Disney. Have you had a great experience in the park? Has a cast member ever given you a little something extra? Have you had experience with Genie Plus yet? What are your thoughts on this? Let us know. You can reach us at whyilovedisney.com and through social media, Instagram and Twitter as well. But let us know. Until next time, we'll be back real soon.
You too.
Y'all have a great day. David, JD, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Excited to talk more. Man, we got to talk movies to review. We got some NFT digital collectibles to talk about. We got more movies coming out, more Disney news, and we'll be back here next week with you guys. So until then, take care. Have a great day.